Did you know that in the United States, every 40 seconds, an elderly person is rushed to the hospital due to a stroke? Think about that every time you blink or look at your phone. Someone's life is changing in an instant. The scariest part? Most of these strokes could have been prevented. And it all starts with those harmless foods you put on your breakfast plate every morning. A groundbreaking study shows that certain common breakfast habits can triple your risk of stroke, exposing you to debilitating consequences like brain damage, speech problems, and potentially irreversible impairments. Imagine this. You're calmly sipping your morning coffee, unaware that your arteries may be silently clogging up, that your blood is thickening like syrup, setting the stage for a stroke that could change your life forever. If that sounds grim, don't worry. There's still time to make a few simple changes. In this video, we'll reveal 9 common breakfast foods that significantly increase stroke risk. The second one is so common that it's probably already in your kitchen. But the most dangerous of all is something no one talks about. And when you find out what it is, you'll be shocked to learn it's marketed as a health food. Stay with us until the end, because we'll also share 3 special foods that act as a protective shield around your brain, dramatically lowering stroke risk, even if you're over 60. Before we start, please let us know in the comments where you're watching from, and don't forget to like and subscribe to see more content like this. Ready to begin? Number 9. Pancakes and waffles. There's nothing better than a stack of warm pancakes or waffles with syrup on a Sunday morning. But if you're over 60, this hearty breakfast could be more dangerous than it seems. In fact, pancake and waffle mixes, especially those found in the frozen food aisles, are full of refined carbohydrates. These are essentially carbs stripped of fiber and nutrients, which act in your body much like pure sugar. Once you eat them, your blood sugar spikes, triggering an insulin surge. Over time, these repeated sugar and insulin spikes can cause irritation and hardening of the arteries. According to a 2019 study published in the Journal of the American Heart Association, diets high in refined carbs are closely linked to a higher risk of ischemic strokes, caused by blood clots that block blood flow to the brain. Once your blood vessels become stiff, they're more likely to rupture or form clots, perfect conditions for a stroke. But it's not just the carbs. Frozen pancakes and waffles also often contain hidden trans fats, those sneaky oils that inflame your arteries, raise LDL, bad cholesterol, and lower HDL, good cholesterol. If you eat them weekly or even daily, you're not just adding extra calories, you're increasing your stroke risk with every bite. Number 8. Commercial muffins. Muffins, especially those labeled as blueberry, bran, or heart healthy, seem wholesome. They're often marketed as a nutritious, filling way to start the day. But beneath their golden crust lies a minefield of unhealthy ingredients. Store-bought muffins typically contain refined white flour, high amounts of sugar, and hydrogenated oils, also known as trans fats. Some of the larger store-bought muffins actually contain more sugar than a donut of the same size. They're also notorious for being high in sodium. You might not associate salt with muffins, but it's there, and sodium is a major factor in high blood pressure, the number 1 risk factor for stroke according to the CDC. Mix sugar, salt, and bad fats in one food, and you've got a triple threat to your blood vessels. On top of that, muffins are often high in calories and low in nutrients, meaning you're filling up without getting the vitamins and minerals your arteries need to stay healthy. As we age, the body becomes less capable of repairing even small but dangerous damage to arteries. So eating a muffin several times a week is like pouring fuel on a fire that may ignite when you least expect it. Number 7. Bacon. No one can deny the irresistible smell of bacon sizzling in a pan. But for older adults, bacon might be one of the most dangerous breakfast choices if you want to avoid a stroke. The problem lies in its high levels of saturated fat and sodium, a destructive duo for your cardiovascular system. Saturated fats raise your LDL, bad cholesterol, which can stick to your artery walls and form thick, stiff plaques that block blood flow to the brain. According to a 2021 study published in Circulation, people who consume a lot of processed meats like bacon are 43% more likely to suffer from heart disease or stroke. And that's not all. Bacon also contains nitrates and nitrites, chemical preservatives linked to inflammation and oxidative stress, both of which compromise the integrity of blood vessels and increase the risk of them breaking or getting blocked. Eating bacon occasionally won't doom you. But if it's a regular part of your breakfast, you're setting yourself up for a stroke at some point. Number 6. Flavored yogurts. You might think you're doing your body a favor by eating fruit yogurt for breakfast. But for older adults, that innocent little cup often hides a mountain of added sugar. Even light or low-fat varieties can contain lots of syrups and additives. In fact, it's not uncommon for a single serving to have as much sugar as a candy bar. Eating high amounts of sugar in the morning kicks off a harmful cycle, a rapid blood sugar spike, which worsens blood vessel health and triggers inflammation. Over time, the thin walls of your arteries become fragile and clogged. A 2020 meta-analysis published in Nutrients concluded that excess sugar consumption is closely linked to an increased risk of stroke, especially among the elderly. And that's not all. Some flavored yogurts also contain artificial sweeteners. Although these sweeteners contain little or no calories, they can disrupt gut bacteria and impair insulin resistance, two factors that are harmful to your blood vessels. Instead of starting your day with truly nutritious food, each spoonful can harm your vascular health. Number 5. White bread with butter. A few slices of white bread with butter might seem like the easiest and most filling breakfast. But if you're 60 or older, this could be a Trojan horse for your cardiovascular health. White bread is another refined carbohydrate that quickly turns into sugar in your bloodstream. And we've already seen how spikes in blood sugar can lead to inflammation and hardening of the arteries. Now, let's talk about butter. While some specialty butters, like those from grass-fed cows, have interesting properties, most store-bought butters tend to raise LDL cholesterol, which contributes to plaque buildup in arteries. If a piece of this plaque breaks off, it can enter the bloodstream and settle in the brain, causing a stroke. This combination is dangerous because it doesn't seem that bad. It's not a deep-fried donut or a pile of candy, but the damage accumulates slowly, like a small leak that eventually floods a basement if left unchecked. Number 4. Fast food breakfast sandwiches. We've all been there. You're in a rush. The day's already started, so you stop by a drive-thru to grab a convenient breakfast sandwich. But if you're an older adult looking to prevent strokes, you're walking through a minefield. These fast food breakfast sandwiches typically contain processed meats, like sausage and bacon, processed cheese, and refined white bread. Each of these ingredients is harmful on its own. Together, they form an explosive cocktail against stroke prevention. The sodium content is often extremely high, sometimes reaching your entire daily recommended intake in a single meal. High sodium causes your body to retain water, which raises blood pressure. Add to that the saturated fats coating your arteries, and you've got a direct path to heart and vascular problems. In 2018, the Journal of Clinical Hypertension published a study linking frequent fast food consumption to increased blood pressure and a higher risk of stroke, especially in people over 60. Even if you limit yourself to just 1 or 2 breakfast sandwiches per week, the cumulative long-term damage to your arteries can be significant. Number 3. Granola and muesli bars. Granola has a reputation for being a healthy breakfast option, the kind you'd expect to see in a dietitian's pantry. But in reality, most store-bought granola and muesli bars are loaded with added sugars and questionable oils. Some brands contain as much sugar in one serving as a chocolate bar, which severely disrupts your blood sugar and insulin levels. And now we know that these spikes can cause inflammatory damage to blood vessels, making them more vulnerable to plaque formation. In addition, many granolas are baked or mixed with vegetable oils, rich in omega-6 fatty acids. A small amount of omega-6 is okay, but in large amounts, they push the body into a pro-inflammatory state, which increases the risk of stroke. Researchers from the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition confirm that a high omega-6 to omega-3 ratio correlates with a higher risk of heart disease, including strokes. Elderly people may think they're making a wise choice by eating muesli, but if it's full of sugar and inflammatory oils, it does more harm than good. Number 2. Orange juice and other commercial fruit juices. Now let's move on to the breakfast drink you can find almost anywhere. Orange juice. Most of us grew up hearing that orange juice is the perfect way to start the day. But if you're older, this tangy and refreshing drink might be a risky choice. Commercial orange juice contains a lot of fructose, a type of sugar that the body processes differently than glucose. Too much fructose overwhelms your liver, which turns it into fat and raises your triglyceride levels. High triglycerides are a reliable indicator that you're on the path to atherosclerosis, narrowing and hardening of the arteries, which is a major cause of strokes. Even pure, undiluted orange juice affects blood sugar levels almost like soda. That's because all the fiber has been removed, leaving only concentrated sugar. A 2019 study published in the British Medical Journal showed that high consumption of fruit juice is linked to an increased risk of cardiovascular disease and stroke. And since older adults often struggle to metabolize sugar, what seems like an innocent glass of orange juice may be more harmful after age 60 than it was in youth. This sweet and refreshing treat many of us keep in our refrigerators without a second thought could be damaging. First, processed cereals. This might surprise you, considering the number of cereals boasting heart health benefits, whole grains, or added vitamins. But the flashy packaging can be deceptive. In reality, most cereals, even those labeled as healthy, are highly processed. They're loaded with sugar, refined carbohydrates, and synthetic additives. This means that when you pour yourself a bowl, you're likely starting your day with a sugar hit that spikes your insulin levels. Day after day, these morning sugar spikes reduce arterial flexibility, increase clot risk, and raise your chances of having a stroke. Some cereals also contain added sodium, which raises blood pressure. A 2022 study published in the Journal of the American College of Cardiology found that a diet high in ultra-processed foods can increase stroke risk by 30%. For older people whose blood vessels are already weakened, this number is staggering. Even worse, many cereals don't provide lasting satiety, leading to snacking or overeating later, putting even more strain on your cardiovascular system. Good news: 3 superfoods that protect your brain. So, we've uncovered 9 breakfast bombs that could significantly increase stroke risk. But there's good news: your brain is not defenseless. Several healthy foods can act as bodyguards for your blood vessels, keeping your arteries flexible and significantly reducing stroke risk at any age. Here are 3 superfoods that shield against strokes and that you should absolutely include in your breakfast. 1. Blueberries. If you can pick only one fruit for breakfast, let it be blueberries. These tiny berries are incredibly beneficial, especially for stroke prevention. They are rich in anthocyanins, a class of flavonoid antioxidants that significantly improve blood vessel health. Think of antioxidants as your body's internal cleaning crew, removing harmful free radicals that cause inflammation in the arteries. A landmark 2013 study published in Circulation found that people who consumed lots of anthocyanin-rich berries saw their risk of heart attacks and strokes drop by 32% compared to those who ate few. That's a significant benefit from a handful of blueberries at breakfast. Plus, their relatively low sugar content means they don't cause major blood sugar spikes. Add them to Greek yogurt, sprinkle them on oatmeal, or enjoy them fresh or frozen as a side. Your arteries will thank you. 2. Avocados. Next comes the trendy green fruit seen everywhere from guacamole to gourmet toast. Avocados are known for their monounsaturated fatty acids, healthy fats that help lower LDL, bad, cholesterol and raise HDL, good, cholesterol. This is important because high LDL and low HDL are a perfect recipe for plaque-filled arteries. But avocados offer more than just healthy fats. They're also rich in potassium, a mineral essential for regulating blood pressure. By keeping your blood pressure in check, you help your arteries relax and prevent their walls from weakening under constant pressure. A meta-analysis published in BMJ in 2015 concluded that higher potassium intake is significantly associated with a reduced risk of stroke, especially cerebral strokes in older adults. Sliced on whole grain bread, blended into smoothies, or paired with eggs in an omelet, avocado is a creamy ally in your fight against strokes. 3. Walnuts. And last but not least, the humble walnut. If any food can be called brain food, it's nuts. Walnuts are packed with omega-3 fatty acids, especially alpha-linolenic acid, which has powerful anti-inflammatory properties. Remember, inflammation is a key factor in artery damage and clot formation, so controlling it is vital for stroke prevention. Walnuts also provide a good dose of magnesium, another important nutrient for healthy blood pressure and vascular function. A 2019 study published in Nutrients highlighted that regular nut consumption is associated with improved endothelial function. In scientific terms, that means maintaining the health and integrity of the artery's inner lining. A healthy endothelium allows for smoother blood flow, lower clot risk, and better oxygen delivery to the brain. Add a handful of walnuts to your morning oatmeal, blend them into a protein shake, or crush them into homemade granola. Just watch the sugar if you make it yourself.